That's dope. You know, you had your mom pushing you, you know, and you had a teacher
Yeah,
pushing you. And so then you were able to knock that out, right? You're able to you know, you said everything was falling in line, you know, because then the DACA happened, right? So kind of explain it. I
yeah,
remember when that started happening, I remember I was helping some students out and they looked at the requirements and a lot of them met the requirements,
yeah.
um, but some of them didn't, you know. So you can kind of give us a little quick idea of what DACA is and you know how that worked out.
Yeah, so like DACA is basically a work permit, right? And so you have to have a clean record, and for you have to have a clean record to be able to qualify for DACA. So at any point, if you ever have like a misdemeanor or like you've been in jail or whatever, like you are automatically disqualified from having DACA. And so, I've fortunately I've had a like clean record and like I was able to apply, and also you had to have graduated from high school or graduated from high school in the U.S. and you had to have been here before 16 years old when DACA was passed. And so you had yeah, and so when that passed, like I was like I met most of the requirements, right, and was like what? And so I applied, and it was heartbreaking just because like I met folks who like I've met folks like who have organized for DACA, who like organized for DACA, who went to sit-ins, who protested, demanded like we have like immigration reform or the original Dream Act is what originally they were in that was the original initiative.
Right.
And so, and the Dream Act was supposed to cover much more than like DACA. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, and what we got instead was DACA, and that includes just about 800,000 like recipients,
Right.
and which is like just a drop in the bucket
Okay.
compared to like how many undocumented immigrants are actually should be able to apply for this kind of program. And that was something that was very I didn't understand that until I went to UC and until I started meeting organizers, and you know and I think that in like the mindset that college just taught me to have a different mindset. Like I definitely like believe that college taught me to like use critical thinking, and because I was able to use critical thinking, because I learned like took advantage of the resources of learning, I wanted to apply my knowledge into the real world,
Right.
right? I wasn't just when I learned that, like as soon as I got DACA, like what I wanted to do is apply my knowledge into the real world. And what that means is that like, yeah, someone could be smart and like you go to school, you have straight A's, that's cool. Like I can tell you right now, I'm not a straight A student. I actually just got diagnosed this year with ADHD and anxiety. Like I remember thinking back when I was a kid, like I remember like the way I behaved in a classroom and the way I behaved as a child, right? And my actions and everything. So I when I was diagnosed with that, it made a lot of sense for me. But it happened until like I'm 29 now, right? And so it happened just very recently. And so anyways, like I can tell, so just that going back to what I was mentioning in college, like I just did not like I was not a good student. Like as in like I was not your perfect student. Like
Right.
as hard as I tried,
Right.
it's an entirely new world. I was also like there's a lot that we go through, I feel, that we aren't prepared for.
Hmm.
And I think and that's what really drew me to education. It's the emotional stress that we have to go through when we go to college.
Mhm.
It's the barriers that we have to learn to face on our own.
Yeah.
It's all of that plus trying to be a student like
Right.
everyone
Right. You still
else,
have to do work.
and
Yeah. You still have to do
yeah,
school.
and do the work grades, right? And on top of that, because I had DACA, I still had to have a job. You see, but I didn't really know that in university. Like, and so that's something that drew me like to this day to become a teacher is like understanding that yeah, cool, like there are A+ students out there, and they're like of course really like I'm the type of student who wants to apply my knowledge into the real world, right? And so I truly believe in like a lot of students like can I truly believe that a lot of students are able to do that if you have an educator to like push you in the right direction, and push I wouldn't even say push, just like guide you in the right direction, right?
Mhm.
And so that is something that was really meaningful to me. Like Reyes, I will always remember like Reyes was never somebody who told me how to be as a student in a classroom. she never told me like, Julio, you have to behave like this, so and so and so and so, right? Or like got me in trouble. I was a very like active student. I love to interact with people. I love to make jokes. I played around a lot. And however, like I don't know what it was that Rhea saw, but like she always just kind of guided me in the right directions or provided me with resources.
Right.
And to this day, I still thank her. I tell her I owe my life to her, like for sure. Like my educational life and like what I have gone through, I genuinely believe that I owe her like so much because of how she accepted how I was just as a person,
Right.
how I was as a person, not how I was as a student, right? Because we're always gonna find an A+ student somewhere, but
Right.
just to see like just potential in a human being, that speaks volume. And so that is something that I like to bring into a classroom. Like like I said, I'm unorthodox. I'm not, like not to say like I'm unique or anything, right? Like I don't want to say that. But what I meant to say is that like I like to just meet new people, meet new students, and see like, man, let's see what you have to offer, and like let's just bring it out in you, you know.
Yeah.
And like yeah, not and like hopefully in a natural through a natural way rather than like trying to push you and grind you and make you feel stressed, you know. And so that is something that I learned from Reyes, and to this day I still take it with me. Like, and I still in a classroom, in a job, wherever I go, is that like to accept, like even just in life, to just accept folks and like try to understand them and like teach and treat them the way they want to be treated, not the way you want to be treated. And so like it was a lot. Yeah. My bad. I kind of went on a rant.
Oh man,
Oh man, welcome to
welcome to Julio's rant. No, no, no.
yeah.